Well, welcome. Thank you all for joining us tonight. My name is Nada St. Germain, and I have the pleasure of kicking off our evening tonight. And our main focus is diabetes and blood sugar control and regulation. And I'm so grateful to have Maryellen Vandenbrink, our holistic nutritionist, joining us tonight. But I was introduced to Neo Life over 33 years ago. I was working as a police officer in the city and just really struggling with fatigue and joint pain. And my mom was in her 40s at the time, and she was really struggling with her health as well. And just struggling with a condition called fibromyalgia. I don't know if you know what that is, but just a lot of pain through her whole body. And a neighbor and a dear friend asked me if I would give Neolife supplements a try. And I said, no, thank you. I said, supplements don't work because I was watching my mom take supplements for a number of years with no results. But all she said to me was, Nada, do you want to just try it with me? This company is different. And I'm so grateful that she'd said that because I said, okay, I'll give it a try, but I want my mom and my sisters and my family to hear about it. So we heard this information and got started. And the impact that these products have made in my life over the last 33 years has been absolutely incredible. I just have to say that I'm so grateful and so blessed. And I know when you hear this information, you'll understand the Neo Life difference and the impact that good quality whole food supplements will make in your health. So now I'm so grateful to introduce Maryellen Vandenbrink, our holistic nutritionist on our Canadian team here. So Maryellen, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nada. I was introduced to Neolife over 30 years ago because my son had a lot of respiratory issues and I suffered from headaches. But, when I've worked with so many people now, and I find there's so many people with blood glucose problems, with pre-diabetes, and it's really nice to know the information we're going to share with you tonight is going to empower you so you can understand that you can take charge of this and actually do a lot with it. So when you look at diabetes in Canada, every 3 minutes, did you know that someone in Canada is diagnosed with diabetes? And I'll be honest, there's a lot of people out there who are diabetic and don't even know it. 29% of Canadians are living with diabetes or pre-diabetes. Today it's about 3.4 million, and it's costing us a fortune, 14 billion per year. And at least 1 in 10 deaths in Canada, adults, are attributable to diabetes. And it's just soaring from there. And there's so many side effects with diabetes. So this is why it's a disease that you can definitely live with if you have it. Sometimes if it's type 2, you can even do some reversal. But the key is to keep it in control so you don't get damage. Can you mute Cindy, Nada, for me? The global health megatrend with diabetes, 15 to 30% of pre-diabetics will actually develop type 2 diabetes in 5 years unless they make lifestyle changes. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. People with pre-diabetes who take part in structural lifestyle change program, they can actually cut their risk of developing type 2 diabetes by as much as 58%. So that's huge. Diabetes is the 7th leading cause of death, and 92%, as we talked about, of type 2 cases are preventable. When you have diabetes, the risk of death for adults is 50% higher than those without. And one of the biggest causes of diabetes is poor nutrition and bad lifestyle. So why is blood sugar regulation important? Well, you think it optimizes cellular energy because when your blood sugar is off, you're exhausted, you're cranky. That's where you get the hangry terminology. Minimizing the risk of diabetes is so important to keep because if you don't keep your blood sugar, you increase your risk. And to maximize fat burning, so for weight loss, so that you don't end up, overweight. Improper cellular glucose transport. So what can happen if you don't have things working properly? You can get hypoglycemia. That's low blood sugar. You see a lot of people, if someone eats something sweet and then the blood sugar bottoms out, that can happen. You can have lots of glucose in your blood, but your cells have no energy because the glucose isn't getting into the cell. And the danger with excess glucose is it acts as an oxidant, which means it damages your cells. So it damages the microcirculation. That's why there's see a lot of people with diabetes have they don't heal, they have toe problems, they have heart disease. And high sugar concentration in the blood can damage your body. Organ damage, things like eyes and kidneys are very susceptible when you're diabetic. Nerve damage, neuropathy, you hear that a lot, and ulcers and infections, which can lead to amputations. So when you look at diabetes from head to toe, it really hits every part of the body. You think things like your eyes. A lot of times, if you're diabetic, you can actually your eyesight will get blurry, and you can have spots or other symptoms. It affects your heart and brain. It increases your chance of heart disease, your nerves, your feet, your kidneys, and your brain. So they actually are saying that Alzheimer's is type 3 diabetes. So it affects everything in the body. And I'd like to introduce you to my little friend insulin. This is an easy way to kind of explain to you how it works with blood sugar and how it gets into the body. So you kind of think of it as a school. And so insulin is like the room monitor. And what his job is to knock on the door to let the students in the door, because those students represent the bloodstream and the glucose. Well, here's this glucose, and when things are working perfectly, the door opens and the sugar goes into the classroom or into your cells. But when things aren't working as well, what happens? The, the blood sugar starts to accumulate in the cells or in the blood, just like they do in the classroom there. And as you can see, they're getting quite grumpy, those little cells there. They want to get in. And here's Mr. Insulin. He's banging on that door. He's trying to unlock it, but he can't get the door open. So what happens when, students are in the hallway and they have nothing to do? Next slide, Nada. Well, they start to go crazy, right? And this is what sugar does to our body. It's almost like it's ripping off the wallpaper, destroying the cells. So this is why it's so important. So this is how it works in the bloodstream with cellular energy and glucose transport. Basically, what happens is, the sugar is in the blood. The insulin is like the car that drives it into the cell. So it has to go through a receptor and then it's absorbed in the cell. That's when things work perfectly. But what can go wrong? Well, if you have no insulin, so what that means is your pancreas isn't producing insulin. And that can be from two reasons. It can be, type 1 diabetes, where you've had where your beta cells have been destroyed and you can't produce insulin. But sometimes it's from being type 2 diabetic and not controlling your blood sugar. So the glucose and properly functioning insulin receptors. So with type 2, it's a little bit different. You actually produce insulin, but your receptors are desensitized. So those receptors are overworked, they don't function properly, and they cannot get that sugar. They can't drive it into the cell. Insulin can't carry it in there. So preventing the progression. Well, research shows that the risk of developing type 2 diabetes, as I mentioned, is reduced by as much as 58%. How? Exercising moderately for 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. And just to give you a tip, if you have dinner and go for a walk after, it actually helps your body control blood sugar. Losing 5 to 7% of your body weight and eating healthy. This is the key. So what can be done? We can resensitize those insulin receptors. Sometimes it's done chemically through medication, but the problem is, as we know, there's a lot of side effects with medication, because what they do is they add insulin to force those receptors. It increases insulin sensitivity by making lifestyle and nutritional changes. That's the best way, because as you can see here, type 2 diabetes can be reduced with lifestyle intervention. So Nada, do you want to share the 3 keys to optimal health?
Maryellen, you already talked about the food and diet, that does play a huge role, right? And when you're looking at the 3 keys, definitely weight management, diet, and physical activity are the 3 things that you need to look at in areas, especially if you're struggling with one of these. So I always tell people, which one of these areas are you kind of needing to improve, right? Because good nutrition can help lower risk for many chronic diseases, including heart disease, stroke, some cancers, diabetes, um, and that's actually from the Center for Disease Control. So it's pretty powerful when you look at all the things that we can do. But there was a study that was done, and they talked about what we aren't eating is actually killing us. Because many of us are thinking, oh, I can get everything from my food, but it's actually what we're not, what we aren't eating. And unfortunately, it's a lot of our foods are just processed, especially our grains. And we're not eating enough fruit, nuts, seeds, omega-3, and vegetables. But let's talk about the grains, because that's one of the biggest challenges we have worldwide. This was a worldwide study that they had done. And years ago, 70 years ago, they used to grow the wheat, grind the wheat, make the flour, and make the bread. And the oils were still in the husk of the grain. This is what drew me to the company because I didn't know that they were doing this to our grains and our foods. And we call it the great grain robbery, because of mass production, longer shelf life. Milling removes all the critical oils, all the essential nutrients, and you're left with this kind of starch, flour, kind of protein, gluten product. And there's only two ways to get these oils in your diet. I mean, think about it. Our breads last weeks, our cereals last years, and our pasta lasts forever. So you'd have to eat non-rancid whole seeds, grains, and nuts, or supplement with tran and grain concentrate. This is what Neolife started with in 1958. And this is what drew me to the company because this is what really helped me with my hormones and PMS and energy. And it takes about 550 extra calories of freshly ground whole grain a day, equivalent to one tran N. So this is pretty powerful, just an incredible product. And again, it's unique to Neolife, and this is what started the company. So it's essential lipids and phytosterols from whole grain, less gluten than a bowl of gluten-free cereal, and it was developed for a hospital research study, and it's been proven to help with cellular energy, just make your cells work better. But so as you can see, supplementation is something that more and more people are looking at because they know there's things wrong with our food and we're just not getting everything from our food. But Maryellen, when it comes to supplements, what are some of the challenges out there?
There's so many different products out there, and everybody says their product is the best. But Consumer Report found that FDA found hidden drugs in nearly 50 dietary supplements sold on Amazon and eBay. And people like to buy there because it's inexpensive, but there is dangers with it. And even in the drugstores and health food stores, they found hidden dangers lurking over-the-counter supplement, study warns. And they tested like numerous products and found all sorts of terrible things in the products, which is really, really scary. And even a new study on protein powders found elevated levels of heavy metals, BPA, in 53 of the leading brands. So you have to really trust who you're dealing with. And that's why when I was introduced to Neolife, I was so impressed because the fact they'd been around since 1958, they never had a dietary recall. They do do the extra step and have a pharmaceutical license for manufacturing, which is not required, but it does require extra testing on the products. That we're established in over 50 countries, and we meet or exceed the health standards of all of those countries. And we have an amazing scientific research team. And the whole philosophy is the products are from whole foods, based in nature, but backed by evidence-based science. And all of the products use only organic and GMO-free ingredients. That's so important because natural can be anything from the ground. It can be algae, pine bark, duck feathers, and all sorts of other cheap non-food items because natural can cover anything, right? Where whole food, Neolife goes to where Nana was talking about that study, the things we're missing in our diets. Organic and GMO-free whole grains, fruits and vegetables, wild salmon, and seeds and nuts. That's what they make the products from. And the reason they have this high quality control is because of the scientific advisory board founded by Dr. Arthur First, who's one of the top toxicologists in the world. He was actually the co-founder of oral chemotherapy. And when he was doing his research in cancer, he found nutrients in food that prevent disease. So that's why he joined up with Neolife in the 1970s. And he's the driving force behind all of the products and set up our incredible scientific advisory board of world-renowned scientists and researchers who they don't just endorse the product, they actually are involved in the research and development. And as you can see, there's Nada and I. We were at a convention and we were talking to Dr. First, and it's really nice that these scientists come right out so we can meet them and talk to them. In fact, on December 12th, Dr. Todd Miller will actually be doing a Zoom call for us. And another important fact are the products published in peer-reviewed journals. And as you can see, Neolife products are published in numerous journals, even the New England Journal of Medicine. And the products absolutely are superior. We're talking a lot tonight about the whole food supplements, but we also have an amazing organic skincare that's from Brittany, France. And we also have earth-friendly cleaners. So you can make your whole home green. And Nana, do you want to share about how we can fill those gaps with the Pro Vitality?
Absolutely. So filling the nutritional gaps is what we're really aiming for. Again, better food choices, but also getting good supplements to fill the gap. And that's what this amazing Pro Vitality, we call this like a Cadillac of multis. It does provide the potent nutrients from omega-3s, carotenoids, antioxidants, phytolipids, and sterols, which are those grain oils that we talked about, and vitamins and minerals. So this does provide a solution to that whole grain gap that we were talking about. Tran, there's one of these in this little multivitamin pack that just, again, remember, just makes your cells work better and less gluten than a bowl of gluten-free cereal. And what Tran does, well, when you look at your cells, trillions of them, and the basic function of a healthy cell is to take in nutrients and to eliminate waste. Well, if you're not getting these granules in your diet, which we're not, your cells look like the cell on the left. And all the nutrients are going in and all of the waste is going out. As soon as you add Tran, amazing how all of a sudden the cells just start working better and you start feeling better. And then there's the other product in here is called carotenoid complex, and it's a solution to the fruit and veggie gap. The USDA researchers and the CDC researchers, they prove that this product will help boost your immune system 37% in 20 days. Published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, presented at the New York Academy of Sciences, and it was patented. So after a month of consuming just one that's in this pack, it's like consuming 80 pounds of raw fruits and vegetables in every box. So just a powerhouse. And it's made from tomatoes, carrots, spinach, apricots, and peaches. So it actually prevents you from oxidizing. So what that means is rusting from the inside out, right? So every cell gets about 10,000 hits a day. And if your cell is unprotected, the cell will become very unhealthy. So by adding carotenoids, it just helps to protect you from free radical damage, because that's the enemy that speeds up the aging of our cell. And who wants to slow the aging process? I know I do. And then there's inflammation in your cells. So omega-3 also plays a really big role in reducing inflammation. It's the number one enemy of our cells. And a healthy cell, when you have omega-3 in the diet, it reduces inflammation. And it's hard to get omega-3s in your diet. And there's one omega-3 salmon oil plus in that Pro Vitality pack. And it's tested for 200 contaminants with a zero tolerance factor, pure Atlantic cold pressed fish. And again, clinically proven to reduce inflammation 68% in just 8 weeks, which is pretty powerful. New research on omega-3s. Increased intake of long-chain omega-3 may reduce diabetes risk more than 30%. Very powerful for them to make such a powerful statement. And Neolife salmon oil, again, just helps to fill these gaps in your diet. And recent studies have shown that inflammation is a root cause of many, many issues, not just diabetes. The last little capsule that's in this pack is a multivitamin mineral supplement to nourish your cells. So this completes that Pro Vitality, again, making it a Cadillac of Maltese. And Maryellen, something else that plays a factor with diabetes. What else is happening?
It's so sad you're seeing so many children because they're so inactive now. They're on their phones all the time, and there's a lot of obesity. And when you talk to a lot of the teachers, a lot of the young kids now are being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, which used to be old man diabetes, and now kids are getting it. So it's really, really important that we start when our kids are young. And diabetes is one of the most common chronic diseases among children and youth. Type 1 remains the main form of the disease in kids, but type 2, which I mentioned, historically viewed as an adult disease, has been on the rise globally in children and youth for the last 2 decades. And it's really sad because for both types, the early onset of the disease increases risk of related complications and lifelong consequences. And children and youth with type 1 diabetes are at a greater risk of life-threatening complications because they rely on daily doses of insulin. And then it gets really tough when they become teenagers because adolescents are they have to manage it themselves. And they think they're invincible, they're going out for fast food. So it can be really scary for parents if you're dealing with this. So how do we protect our kids? Well, since it's now one of the most chronic diseases, and yet 20 years it was unheard of, poor nutrition is from the Center of Disease Control, they say is considered the primary cause. So we got to start our kids eating healthy when they're young. And it's kind of scary because there's so many commercials on TV. And when you look at the sugar in a lot of the common breakfast cereals, even things that you think like shredded wheat that you think is kind of healthy, well, one cup is like 8 teaspoons of sugar. Quaker Harvest Crunch is just loaded, 16 teaspoons of sugar. Like these are not good choices for kids. Even Corn Flakes has 5 3/4. And as you can see down the list, all of these types of cereals are so high in sugar, which increases their chances of getting diabetes. And the sugar content, even in a lot of the yogurts, is kind of shocking. Like, look at Activia, the ones that with the fruit in it, it can have 5 3/4 teaspoons of sugar in a serving. And you can see Yoplait, all of them. And even a lot of these smoothies that you think, oh, I'm buying a smoothie, it's got fruit in it. It's just loaded with sugar. So be really careful. Read your labels and familiarize yourself with that. And the Neolife products are perfect for any age. Like when they're babies, this is what my grandkids started, my granddaughters, with Liquivite. So they would have that up until the time they could chew, and then they had the VitaScores and VitaGuard. And of course, the salmon oil is so important for brain development. And I tell you, Neolife kids are super smart kids. They're like my friend Claire, I think 3 of her kids are engineers. Like it's just amazing when they're Neolife kids. So, what do we eat for breakfast? Well, most of the time people have what? Bagels, toast, that type of thing. And a lot of times coffee, right? And there's all those breakfast cereals we were talking about, like very poor choices. So, where's the protein? We need protein. Protein plays a huge role in blood sugar because it slows down the absorption of carbohydrates, including glucose. Protein is a low glycemic food, and a modest increase in protein combined with a modest reduction in those high glycemic foods leads to weight loss and improved blood sugar. So important. And protein and weight management. Protein consumption has a significant effect on satiety. Even a moderate increase in dietary protein combined with exercise can regulate weight by increasing thermogenesis, which means your body is burning fat. And this is where glycemic control is so important because when you're on that red line, on that roller coaster, you can desensitize your cells and that opens you up for type 2 diabetes. You want to be in the blue line where your body is, when you have protein, carb, and good fat at every meal and your blood sugar is in the zone. And here it even shows. And so what's inside? It's all natural, right? It's biologically complete, 22 amino acids. It's been proven that it's absorbed with a high PD-Cas score, 18 grams of protein, 5 grams of fiber, which is important for blood sugar. And it also has the glycemic response, which makes it really unique. I haven't seen a lot of other products that have glycemic response. And what's not inside? No artificial anything. Here's a picture of my granddaughters, and as soon as they could drink from a sippy cup, they were drinking that product. So there's no warnings on it. The whole family can have it. And as you can see, there's nothing artificial in it. And now, did you want to share about the global health mega trend on obesity?
So when you look at what's happening globally, like more than 2.1 billion people are now overweight or obese. That's a third of the world's population. And extra weight significantly increases your risk of diabetes. So what can we do? Well, again, nutrient-rich diet, lose weight, increase physical activity. It really is a lifestyle disease. So when you start making these changes, incredible what can happen. And this Neolife shake is just a great way to do this. I mean, it has a glycemic control response. It includes the branched chain amino acids. It promotes that gut brain satiety signaling that Maryellen was talking about. So you feel more satisfied and regulates blood sugar, clinically studied, and the benefits for weight loss, cardioprotective, and again, lowering that body mass index, the BMI. So if you want to shrink, this is an amazing product to introduce to your program. And we do have a program called NeoFit 90, and it combines the power of our products, motivation, and support to help you reach your fitness and weight loss goals. With NeoFit 90, you have the freedom to take charge of your health journey to determine your goal and Neolife products that can help you achieve it. It is a program that Neolife has in place where you can join. There's a community, the support is amazing, and you can even win the challenge after 90 days, and you win money and prizes. And it's a really great community, especially if you need a bit of support. And there's a great Facebook group as well, so you can share your success throughout your journey. We're actually going to hear from Liz, who shares her story on how the products have helped her as well.
Hi, my name is Liz Brayman, and I have been on the Neolife weight loss program for 30 days now, and I have lost 9 pounds, and I am so excited about it. I have tried many different programs in the past, but they did not work for me. I have a very strong sugar craving, and I always gave in to that craving. And so I was a little hesitant to try the Neolife weight loss program because I didn't want to fail. I did not want to fail once again. But to my pleasant surprise, these products are amazing, and I no longer have the sugar cravings. I have a Neolife shake for breakfast and for lunch, and I feel full, and I do not crave sugar, which is the greatest thing for me because I was such a sugar addict. And I'm so thankful to have begun this weight loss journey with Neolife because I feel so much better. I see the inches coming off also, and my clothes are fitting better. I had bad arthritis in my knees. I had bad knee pain, and that has gone away. I'm sure it's because of the quality shakes and also because I'm not eating inflammatory foods. So I'm excited now because I'll be able to play with my grandchildren and not have to worry about the aches and pains that I was getting before, and I could hardly get up off the floor, but all that is changing now. And I'm going to continue with this program because the results have been amazing so far, and I know it will just get better as I continue. And it's just been wonderful to see the changes in my health and in my body. And this program has really been an answer to a prayer to my.
And that's Liz. She's just a sweetheart, and she's so grateful. Some of you know that that's Francis's sister-in-law. So when she talked about the weight loss system, we have 2 different plans. You can do 1 protein shake a day and follow a mini meal plan and have a healthy lunch. Or Liz chose the full weight loss system where you're doing 2 protein shakes a day. It is a faster approach. So it just depends on your lifestyle and what will fit for you. You can replace 2 meals. Now, what's really nice about the meal replacement, you're not just living on shakes. You're having little mini meals in between, healthy snacks, and you're having a healthy dinner. And I really appreciate the meal because it doesn't really disrupt your meal plan within your home. So you don't have to be cooking separately. You just won't eat the pasta or the white flour or the white rice, right? So you're basically eliminating all the white processed foods out of your diet, and you don't feel like you miss them because that shake just balances your blood sugar. And we have a list of mini meals, and we can send this to you when you're ready. It's always a protein with the carbohydrate. You're not just having like an apple, you're having some protein with it, some cheese or some nuts. And so there's a variety of different snacks. And so you're never bored. Hard-boiled eggs is one of my favorite snacks. Even just almonds and a grapefruit with some cheese, or yogurt with some fruit. So many different things that you can have for snacking in between your shakes. And it's clinically proven to deliver results for weight loss, for body fat reduction, lowers your BMIs, cardioprotective, 15% reduction in LDL, which is your bad cholesterol, and improves your HDL. ratio to LDL. We've had some pretty awesome testimonials. This is one of Maryellen's customers that has been on the products for quite some time now. And you know, when Gabriella came to us, she was not well, and her husband had passed away with diabetes complications, right, Maryellen? And when she came to you, Maryellen, you put her on this amazing journey. And but the thing is, there's a lot of weight loss systems out there, and they all work. People can lose weight on any kind of system, but a lot of times they gain it back. That's the biggest challenge. And look at Gabby 7 years later. She's in incredible shape and just an amazing mom. And this is her mom, Elsa, who lost 20 pounds in 5 months with the breakfast solution, doing the one shake a day, following the meal plan. As the Neolife shakes and supplements have helped me get off my meds for diabetes, cholesterol, and reflux. It has also helped me greatly with pain relief from arthritis and better sleep. And just so you know, we do not take anybody off medication. Okay, that's under the guidance of your doctor. And that's what's really nice when people start going back to their checkups and communicating with their doctor. A lot of times they say, wow, you know, your blood sugar is doing amazing. Let's cut back on your medication. Or wow, you don't need this medication anymore. So just remember, it's under the guidance of your doctor. But this won't interfere with medication, which is so wonderful. Even Carlos, 251 pounds in 26 months, no saggy skin. And he's now doing little marathons and triathlons, and had a lot of pain and arthritis, and again, just reducing inflammation, right? And then we have another product, Maryellen, that sometimes people like to look at and consider adding. Maybe you can explain why glucose support might be a great addition.
Well, glucose support really, what I really like about it, it helps people get their blood sugar in balance. I actually had a neighbor and he was really struggling. He was on two types of diabetes medication, getting serious side effects from one of them. So they took him off the one, and I said, before that you go on the next one, try the glucose support. And when he went on it, his blood sugar has been the best that it's been for 5 years, and it's maintained that for, I think, 2 years now or something. And the reason it works is because it's a unique botanical blend. It's natural whole food botanicals. Things like cinnamon, curcumin, turmeric, you hear about those, they're all anti-inflammatory, right? They help support healthy glucose levels during fasting and after meals. These spices are rich in those polyphenols, which are powerful antioxidants. So when you talk about cinnamon, you just can't go to the grocery store and buy cinnamon. It's not the same type. It has to be a specific type of cinnamon that's rich in bioactives, proven effective for supporting healthy glucose metabolism and healthy blood glucose levels. And studies show bioactives can decrease insulin resistance. Remember, I talked about how the cell can't absorb that, the insulin can't bring the glucose into the cell, and helps lower blood sugar levels by slowing your stomach emptying, slowing the rate of sugar absorption, and enhancing those insulin receptor activation. So very powerful. And turmeric, it's a traditional spice in Indian cuisine, supplies an array of those polyphenol curcumins that help maintain healthy blood glucose levels. And it's been proven to help maintain normal blood sugar levels, plays a role in diabetes prevention, and protects from diabetes related complications too, which I talked a lot about. And curcumin is the bioactive phytonutrient component of turmeric. So you put extra of it in as well because it's a very powerful polyphenol. So there's tremendous potential impacting low-level inflammation, because remember, inflammation destroys our body, associated with chronic lifestyle-related conditions. Research shows polyphenols are anti-inflammatory, anti-thrombogenic, anti-diabetic, anti-cancer, and neuroprotective. So neuroprotective protects you from that neuropathy that you get from diabetes. And as you know, what's chronic disease caused by? Inflammation and oxidation. So this product keys right into it. And it's also found that it also helps with cognitive function and well-being, with your blood lipids to keep your cholesterol in good shape, and general reduction of low-level inflammation. And chromium is a mineral that's added. It's very important for blood sugar regulation. It's an essential trace mineral in bioactive form. It's critical cofactor with insulin. It's essential for the metabolism of carbohydrates, because right, if you can't break your carbohydrates down, they become high sugar, and vital for normal cellular responsiveness to insulin. And alpha lipoic acid also is in it, serves as an antioxidant in all body cells, protecting against free radicals. supports the cell's ability again to utilize insulin, and facilitates normal blood sugar levels. And I know there's a nurse in the US, and she actually did her own study. She got everyone to get their HA1C levels tested. That's a 3-month blood sugar. They all went on the glucose support, and all of their blood sugar levels went down. And as you can see, glucose supports the whole body. All your organs in your body depend on blood sugar regulation. And flavonoids and blood sugar. Here's a study that shows a flavonoid-rich diet may reduce risk of type 2 diabetes. So again, so important for lowering insulin resistance. And we also have our delicious tray, which is it's you take 1 ounce a day, and as you can see, it has all those berries and pomegranate and acai. It's powerful phytonutrient protection from polyphenols, including flavonoids, antioxidants. Again, it has alpha lipoic acid, resveratrol. That's the active ingredient in red wine. It has glucose control and insulin sensitivity. And this is our article on the latest on resveratrol's blood sugar management potential. And as you can see, it's very powerful for helping with blood sugar. And fiber. This is an amazing product because you can bake with it. You can put it in your cereals. You can put it in your smoothies. And it slows the absorption of sugar. And what makes this different, it's not that chemical stuff that you buy in the drugstore. It's an all-natural, complete fiber from all 5 types of dietary fiber. Most have just 1, and from 12 different whole food sources. So it's complete and balanced with soluble and insoluble fiber. It's especially rich in oat fiber, which is shown to support heart health. And it helps remove cholesterol without robbing nutrients. It slows down the absorption of sugar, which minimizes that roller coaster I talked about, the spikes in blood sugar. And there's only 1 gram of fat per serving and no cholesterol. And it's naturally sweetened. And it tastes delicious. You can take it by itself too. And this is David Thompson. This is him and his wife. He was diagnosed as a type 1 diabetic, and he's got an incredible story because it's amazing how much the products helped him even as type 1.
Hey everybody, my name is David Thompson and I'm a 34-year-old type 1 diabetic. I was first diagnosed when I was 25 years old back in 2007. At the time I had some vision problems and I didn't think much more of it than I'm probably just going to have glasses. So I went to my local optometrist, he did his exam and he was a little bit concerned that it could be something more serious, and he told me that I should get checked out to see if I was a diabetic. And at that time, that really confused me because there was nobody in my family with a history of diabetes. So it was Thanksgiving Day. I remember I checked after my meal, and my blood sugar, the very first time I ever checked it, was 550. And I know now that that is extremely dangerous and very, very bad. But, at the time, that number didn't really mean anything to me. It was the first time I ever checked, and I didn't know that a normal blood sugar should only be about 100. So I didn't show too much concern in having to get it taken care of immediately, but I set an appointment to go see a specialist a couple weeks later. And I remember he did an A1C test, which is an average blood sugar. And when he did that, my A1C came back at over 15%, and my average blood sugar was like 440. I remember he gave me insulin right there in the office. Like, I had to take my first injection before he would even let me leave the room. And then a year later, I was able to get put on an insulin pump, which is what I still wear today. And it's a device that I have to wear 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that acts as like an artificial pancreas. Still today, that is the best form of control for a type 1 diabetic. And with that, my blood sugar did drop a little bit. My average dropped to 250, which is still, double what it should be. And my fasting, which is the first time I check in the morning, my fasting blood sugars were always 350, sometimes they were over 400. And no matter what I did, no matter what I ate, I could never get it better. And it stayed like this for 8 years. And I just figured, you have an autoimmune disorder, if there's no cure for it, you're going to have to learn to live with this. So I just dealt with the highs and the lows and the irritable moods and all the things that come with that. And thankfully, I didn't have anything really serious happen until, I'd say, May of 2015. And that was just a couple months before my wife found out about Neolife, which is the product that I have been taking ever since I found out about it, and I'll tell you why. So she started taking it in June of 2015 and didn't know much about it, just she thought it was a weight loss program. And it was mid-July, and she wanted to go to a shake party to learn what it was all about because she was experiencing some amazing results. And supportive husband got drug along with her to the shake party, and I'm sitting there in the back of the room with my arms crossed, and I'm not paying attention to what the guy's saying. I'm hearing him, but I'm not actually listening. And then he got to a point where he talked about the glycemic response control in the Neolife shakes. And that really perked my interest because that to me means blood sugar control. So I started paying attention and listening to what actually was being said at the shake party. And I remember the end of the shake party, I ran out to my car as fast as I could, grabbed my wallet. When I came back in, I bought the weight loss pack, which is the Pro Vitality and 2 shakes a day. And the reason that I wanted to do that is I had a little bit of weight to lose, but I mainly wanted 2 meals a day where I didn't have to worry about my blood sugar at all. And it was August 1st of 2015 that I started. And I remember on August 2nd, overnight, my fasting blood sugars that were, 350 to 400 sometimes, 146 in one day. And, this blew my mind. How can something this simple to do have this effect on my body? I haven't been able to have a controlled blood sugar in 8 years, and all of a sudden I have it in one day. So I wanted to put this product to the test because I was a big skeptic. So for the next month, I ate the same poor diet that I used to eat, the fast food, the pastas, the pizzas, and I didn't do very much exercise. And 30 days later, I found out that I had lost 10 pounds. My average blood sugar dropped to 131, and I cut the amount of insulin I use in half. So I'm saving tons of money on my insulin. I'm feeling great. I'm losing weight. My blood sugars are in complete control. So now I really got to take it seriously. So I started eating better, exercising. Fast forward about 16 months now, I had lost 25 pounds, gained a little bit back because we're going to the gym. So we're putting on muscle using the exact same products to control my diabetes that my wife is using for her weight loss testimonies, for her anxiety. So, it's amazing what your body can do when it's given the correct nutrients. And, the future that I see for myself now is absolutely amazing. Amazing blood sugar control, great weight loss. I feel great. I feel energetic. I feel like I am the old husband that my wife met 13 years ago. And I am.
You're muted, Nada.
Thank you. Wasn't that a great story, Maryellen?
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. And I liked, it kind of scared me at first when he said he was eating all those fast foods but it was nice that he made the changes because it's great because he was young, right? You can get away with some of that stuff. But as he was to get older, not a good idea to keep eating those fast foods. And again, we call them sometimes foods, right? So, and he talked about the breakfast solution. So the breakfast solution, when you're looking at this picture here, it's a vitamin pack with the shakes. We've added the Elevate. For those of you that are looking at maybe a little extra energy, we call this a Core 3 program. Some people like to add the energy drink because they're already buying energy drinks, and this is a clean energy drink that won't give you a heart attack. So it tastes fantastic. So if you're looking at something simple like that, it's a great place to start. Because we do have so many other products for total health and wellness for solutions and everything that you might be struggling with. But the most popular health pack solutions are either the Core 3, the breakfast solution is what David was talking about. The weight loss solution, if you're doing 2 shakes a day, or if you're just looking for a good multivitamin pack, Pro Vitality is also a great place to start. We have an incredible Facebook group, and actually David's testimonial is in this group. We have over 12,000 people now in this group sharing their stories and testimonials. So if you'd like to check this out, you just have to be Facebook friends and add you to this group, and you can hear and read some pretty powerful testimonials. And there's another option. When I looked at this 33 years ago, I really thought that the police career was my passion. But when I started helping people with their health, I realized it really was what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So if you or someone really enjoys helping others, there's a great income opportunity that comes along with this because you truly are helping and impacting lives. But if you just want to try the products, give them a try. It's free to become a member. As soon as you join, you get a 10% discount. You can even get a 20% savings, so double your savings by going on a monthly order. We can even help you get your products for free by referring 3 of your friends. Or if you're kind of thinking, well, no, what about that business? What about that little side gig or income opportunity? Well, in Canada, it's as little as $98 to join, or in the US, $75 to become a promoter. And that gives you a 25% savings. So just reach out to the person who invited you and they can guide you and support you in that direction if you're kind of curious about the business. But again, I just wanted to thank you so much for joining us tonight. I want to thank Maryellen for your expertise. We have many, many guests on this evening. I hope that this kind of enlightened you and just to, give you an idea that good nutrition and good quality supplements that are based by science, right? So important, can really help you in your diabetes journey if that's what you're looking for. So thank you again for joining us. I'll stop the recording and open up to any questions that you may have. Thank you again.